Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to continue looking at the changes in the alpha version 0.18 update. The last video I focused on just the changes in Utah, USA, which is conveniently behind us in the main menu. Now we're going to take a look at all the other changes, one of which is the new main menu backgrounds, which I'm letting you guys enjoy for a little bit before we move on. So we're going to go ahead and go to any map. It doesn't really matter which, but I want you to see the loading screens because the loading screens have been changed. So they look a lot cleaner now, and they load in stages. So it's like it loads the forest up. That bar goes to 100%, and then the next bar, and the next bar, and the next bar, and eventually it's all loaded up and you're ready to go. And while we're talking about graphical changes, let's talk about the change to the lighting system. So everything in the game just looks a bit different. To me, it's a little bit more vibrant, and I do like the way it looks. And it's one of those things where, really, the best way to show this off is to go back and forth between the newest version of the game and the old version of the game. And just for a little bit of extra fun, how about we do something that might not work out? We're gonna do a split screen comparison. And I'm doing this where it's mirrored, so you see the same thing on both sides, but one of them, everything is reversed. But that way you can really clearly see the same scene in two different lights, and you can see the difference. And you can see a lot of the colors seem a lot more richer, especially the one on the truck. I at first thought maybe the truck was a different color after the update, but as far as I could tell, it's the exact same color. It's just displayed differently in the new version of the game. And now we're back in the newest version of the game, and since we're talking about the graphical changes, how about I show you a change to the particles? So now, when you crash your truck, it looks very different from before. You have a lot of little bits that just kind of fly all over the place. And there you go, you can see them just flying off of the truck, off into the distance. That is new with this update. And then if you look at the results of the crash, it looks the same as it always does. That is a crashed truck that can't drive at all. So we need a new truck that can drive. And since we're talking about the truck, why don't we take a closer look at the changes to the truck? And it feels like I'm talking a lot about the word truck. I'm just saying truck a lot. Which means we need a new truck. And since we're talking about the truck, how about I show you the changes to the truck? And I'm saying the word truck a lot, aren't I? First off, though, when you go to the vehicle selector, you'll notice everything here looks different. So if you made a mod and you did your very best to make the mod match up with the stock vehicles, too bad it doesn't match up anymore. They changed the way the vehicles look. Again, they seem to do that a lot. Eventually, they'll find the look they want, I'm sure. Doesn't really matter to me. I like having a fresh look every now and then, but I feel bad for the people making the mods who are always like, oh no, I gotta go update the thing again because they changed it on me and now it doesn't match up anymore. Or then you'll get a mod that's like hasn't been updated in like a couple of years. Like you get that nostalgic factor. Like I remember those backgrounds. Anyways, though, to the D series, there are a few new variants, and then some of the variants that existed already have been modified. The one I want to start off with is the D35 Pig, because this is the one I've always liked because it looks so big and mean, and now it looks bigger and meaner. Like the rear suspension on this thing is a lot beefier than it used to be. The light bar on it's bigger. The doors have been removed. Now you just have a couple of crossbars there. And the front looks a little bit meaner and bigger because it has lights on it as well. And the tires are even bigger. It used to be it had 35-inch tires. Now it has 38-inch tires. And I believe 35-inch tires used to be the biggest stock tires in the game. Now, the biggest are actually 42-inch tires. There are modded ones out there that are even bigger than that. But it's always nice to have really, really nice big fat tires that are available without having to install any mods. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those 42-inch tires on this thing because I think this body style with the big tires on it and the beefy looking suspension, it just looks really, really good. Look at that thing. That thing looks like an awesome off-road vehicle to have. Not a great vehicle to live with, but an awesome one to have. Now there ain't any real big serious off-road areas in Utah, USA around here, but I wanna show off these big tires just by driving in the dirt a little bit, maybe climbing a couple of things, and just giving you an idea of how big they are and some of the things it allows you to do, because there's some unique characteristics about tires once you get them this big that weren't possible with the old 35 inchers. I know it's only a 7-inch difference, but it will make a difference for the right situations. And I'm just driving it through here, and this is where you realize, wait a minute, this thing really doesn't have that much power, and when you have tires this big, you want some extra torque to really get them moving through the tough terrain. Like, let's see, just climbing up this little hill right here, it ain't happening. we just don't have the amount of power I'd want to be able to do something like that. So instead we got to go around, even with this massive tires and this massive suspension. Oh, and look at this. It is struggling up the hill. I am flooring it. It is barely moving. So you know what we need to do? We need to put a bigger engine in this thing to have the maximum amount of entertainment. I mean, you can do things with the regular setup and just bigger tires. Like this rock right here, you can go up it easy peasy. But there are some situations where eventually you'll be like, man, I wish I had a little bit more torque so I can really get through things. And that right there is a little sketchy. It kind of bounced me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and change out the engine. Right now, it actually only has an inline 6 engine. I want a 6-liter diesel V8 engine. That is the definition of torque. I'll give it a little bit bigger turbocharger, just a stage 1. And now this thing should be great. If I remember to change the fuel tank out, because right now it has a gasoline fuel tank. We need the diesel fuel tank in this thing so it has diesel fuel so I don't just destroy the engine instantly. There we go. Neat thing you can do with this suspension, by the way, is you can do stoppies if you time it right. And that's a stoppie and then some. We did a whole rollover with the thing. So we'll go ahead and just freshen it up. And here's something that's only possible with big fat tires. When you get the vehicle onto its side like this, you can just accelerate and steer to the side and level the vehicle back onto its wheels. It wasn't about the extra torque because you can do that without the engine upgrades. It just makes it a little bit easier. This, on the other hand, climbing this thing from a dead stop, can't do that with the stock engine. With the extra torquey V8, easy. Didn't even need to use low range. With the regular engine, that's one of those situations where you gotta use the low range. But it's nice to just have so much torque, you don't care. You almost never need to break out the low range gearbox with this engine. I love driving this thing around, just like an off-road to kind of tool around with, because it's great. So here's a fun situation. You see how the bumper's hitting there and the wheels aren't making contact with the barrier we're trying to climb? We can't get over it easily like that, so we gotta do a little adjustment. First adjustment is resetting the vehicle because it's pulling a little bit to the right and it's annoying. And second adjustment is changing the angle of attack. We just kind of slide into it like so, and it gets over real easy. It almost flipped over again, but with all that torque and the big fat tires, once that tire made contact with the ground, it really just pulled itself along and leveled the vehicle out from a really, really awkward looking angle. Can we go over this? Oh, easy. Now I want to go ahead and take a look at a version of the truck that's very well suited for this location. We're going to be taking a look at the D15 Drag. So the D35 Pig I was driving was modified from the previous update. This is all new. This is a very fast truck with a very big wing. I love the way that wing looks on the truck. I don't know why, it just looks so ridiculous, but so functional. I love it. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and nitrous on, and then we're going to floor it down the highway and go as fast as we possibly can. And with this truck, as fast as we possibly can isn't as fast as most of the drag cars because it's gear limited to about 155 miles per hour. So yeah, we're basically topped out here. Can't go any faster. The engine is also starting to have a complete meltdown. So we need to find something to do with this truck. I think coming up, we can kind of hop off the freeway, fly for a bit, and have a little crash. There's the perfect spot. Fly, crash, and crash again and again. Is it going to land on its wheels? I command you to land on your wheels. Hey, it listens. It actually listens. Unfortunately, it's not driving. It's broken. And now we can go ahead and move on to another version of the truck. And let's get one that's made for the streets, since we're going to be driving on the streets with the street tuned. And on this one, we have a paint job that kind of looks like flames, but at the same time, it doesn't. Like, it has the color scheme that looks like flames, but the shape is all wrong because flames are usually all swirly and stuff. These are just like straight line triangles. It matches the shape of the truck, which is like straight lined and boxy, but I don't know exactly if it's supposed to be flames or not. Like, it just looks like a really bad flame paint job or a really triangle paint job. Anyways, with this configuration, it might as well be a drift version because you got a lot of power going to just the rear wheels and you don't have a lot of weight above those wheels. So the second you get on the power, it just slides just like that. It just slides. And thank goodness that I have a beefy suspension setup because that could have been dangerous hitting the curb and sliding into it like that. And another neat thing that's been improved with the D-Series is it's much easier to separate the body from the frame. In fact, before it was basically impossible even though the vehicle had a body-on-frame design. Now, it's so much easier to do that in a drift vehicle like this one makes it even easier because you can slide it into something and wrap it around the pole. And when you do that, usually it separates things like so. Perfect. So the body of the vehicle mostly came off. The bed is still attached, but the whole front is basically gone. Where has it gone? All the way over here. And whoa! Would you look at that? The compartment where the driver would be has basically held its shape perfectly. That is amazing. I don't know how that happened. And somewhere, the engine is somewhere. I don't know where it could have possibly gone after that. It's not attached, right? Yeah, no. So it must have shot off a little bit farther away than the body. Oh yeah, there it is over there. You can see the supercharger on it. Pretty good looking engine, actually. So anyways, let's get this hunk of junk out of the pole, onto the road, and then how about another new truck? We're going to go ahead and take a look at the D15 Drift. And ironically enough, this vehicle seems to want to slide less than the one we were just driving. The difference is when this thing slides, you can actually easily maintain the drift, where the other one, you can't easily maintain it. If you start to slide, you start to sweat because you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. And while we're on the topic of drift vehicles, a bunch of drift vehicles were added in this update. There's a new drifting Pessima, Blue Buck, Barstow, Miramar, ETK 800, ETKK, and ETK I-Series drift vehicles. Now, I'm not going to drive every single one of them. I might not even show you every single one of them, but I at least want to show you some more than just the pickup truck later on. But right now, I'm trying to drift. So, like, I really want to do those big, wide drifts like that. Problem is I'm not getting corners that are really set up for that. Like this corner here, if you try to do a big, wide drift, well, it's only like a 90-degree corner, so it wouldn't work out well. Well, that was an accident right there, that drift. And the funny thing, again, like I said, this thing is easier to not drift than the other one. So, for example, if I want to just drive this like a normal vehicle through this corner, yeah, that works fine. You don't need to drift it. But now, we are approaching the racetrack. That means it's time to wreck this truck and then get yet another new one. This time it's going to be the racing version of the D series, which is once again a new vehicle. Now this one has a much nicer design than the one I was driving before with the weird flame paint job. This one just has a nice simple racing stripe on it, and in addition to that, it has a little spoiler on the rear, and then it also has the cover on the bed, but the roll bar goes inside of it. And I think that looks really cool how it just kind of slides on into it all stealth-like like that. I mean, it's obvious that there is one there, but I like that it just combines together so cleanly, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to do a little bit of racing with the track version, or race version as I like to call it, because race version, everybody knows what race is. Somebody says track, some people out there, what does that mean? No, race. Everybody knows what a race car is. Not everybody knows what the track car is. Most people, but not everybody. And what we're going to do is we're going to drive all the way to where the drag strip is. And once we're at the drag strip, time to do a drag race. We're going to be using the drag version of this pickup truck against one of the more traditional drag cars. We're going to see how well it does. I know I can do a quarter mile like a whole second faster than the AI, basically. The question is the difference small enough between the truck and the more traditional drag cars where I can still win? Because I know it's slower. The question is how much slower? So we'll go ahead and grab the drag truck once more. And for the opponent, there's already a car there. It's a drag car. That is great. So here we go. Lining up at the T. Got my nitrous on. And then 3, 2, 1, go. I had to do kind of weird launch there. I don't know if you noticed. I went to neutral and then the drive. I didn't just like clutch dump it like I normally would. And it looks like I'm going to win this. Oh, it's going to be close. All right, so I won that by about, wow, 1/20th of a second. They were going about 10 miles per hour faster than me. So that tells me theirs is definitely more powerful. I just had a much better launch. Pit maneuver test. Oh, that worked great. I just noticed on this one, it doesn't have a wheelie bar like theirs does. Kind of interesting. Anyways, reset this guy. And there are a few more versions of the D series we're going to be looking at. The first is the Disappointment. And this one has kind of a really neat looking front on it. Like, it looks terrible, but it looks neat. I love that. It also has the hood exit exhaust, the rusty everywhere paint job. It does have some reinforcements to it with the roll bar and stuff. Overall, though, terrible vehicle to drive. Look how slow this thing is. It's a bottom tier truck in a very nice color that's unfortunately rusted up with a very weird looking front bumper. That's all I'm going to do with that guy. Next up, hey, there goes the car I just raced. I saw him drive by. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the final truck. The thing is I got to make sure I can find the correct one. There we go. This is one of the ones with the long bed. So there's now a long bed option in the game. And boy, is it long. That is really long. Like, you know, I'm always like, man, the D35 Beast is huge. Well, not anymore, it ain't. That's the D35 Beast. And that's the long bed. The long bed is big. What I want to do eventually, I want to make a D35 Beast custom with the long bed on it and just be the biggest truck in the history of the world. And with the long bed, though, you could fit a lot in there. In fact, one of the things they showed in the trailer is that you should be able to fit an autobello into the bed of the truck. Oh, well, not like that. More like this. There you go. So it mostly fits, you see? Doesn't completely fit, but it fits enough where you can drive around without having to worry about it easily falling out. It's not a super powerful truck either, so you don't have to worry about accelerating too hard where it falls out. And that works great. Should be fun to see what happens to the vehicle when we crash. We are going about 60 miles per hour. Hopefully it'll just kind of launch the autobello out of the truck and then onto the road. Yep, it just got launched off perfectly. Well, it got launched off. Maybe not perfectly since rolling over, but I accomplished my goal. So in the end, that is a success. That is also a pretty ruined pickup truck. And I think it's now time to change things up a little bit. We're going to go to the bus routes, and you can turn traffic on while you do this. And if you have traffic on with the bus, you know what the bus uses? It's the Ram bus. And the traffic makes this much more interesting to do, because before you would just drive from A to B to C to D, E, F, G, and so on, all alone. There was no real variance to it. It was not dynamic in any way. Now, with traffic, it's very dynamic, and you never know what's going to happen. You might have to slow down for traffic. You might have to plow through them. We're going to see what happens. So like right here, we already got an issue, right? It looks like the car trying to go to the right just crashed into the stop sign. That guy's still waiting for him because he doesn't know what to do. So now I got a choice. Do I want to try to slide on through, or do I want to ram them? I won't use the ram plow just yet if I don't have to. Although, what is this bolide doing like right in the middle of the road? I really got to go right next to them. That was beautiful. Then we can go ahead and stop for the people on the bus, which I'm stopping on the wrong side. I don't know really why that's the case. And yeah, kneeling the bus also does slow-mo. That's good. My controls are a little bit funny like that. Doesn't matter though, because I can hit full speed and hit the people on the bus. And then we can continue along. Oh, look at that AI. He is getting angry. I want to see the AI. What's he doing? He in the dirt. Another neat thing the AI can do now, though, is they will honk at you if you're blocking the way or if another AI car is blocking their way. The only problem is sometimes it's hard to activate. Like, I could just sit in front of this dude. He may or may not honk. In this situation, he's not honking. But they can. Believe me. They can and do that. Anyways, now. Ram plow time. Ram plow time. Time to ram plow. I just gotta hope somebody gets in my way. All right, perfect. Targets acquired. Oh, no. Oh, no, I couldn't get that guy. Oh, no, I'm gonna crash hard. I'm gonna crash really hard. No, wait. This is actually fine. We can wall ride our way around the corner. I can't hit any cars, but I'm not hitting any walls. I'm just sliding along. Oh, now I hit the wall. All right, the bus can't steer anymore, so yay, we got a car. Purely by luck. And now the rear drive shaft is broken. Just go to real time. Poor bus. Oh, look at that. That's the first time I've ever seen the ram plow actually fall off of the bus. Anyways, we're gonna try this one more time, and this time all we're gonna do is worry about plowing. I am no longer a bus. I am a plow designed to destroy cars. This car, he's gonna get lucky. I can just barely hit him as around the corner. Same goes for you. Next car coming up, he's done. I'm going all in to get this dude, and boom. Bye-bye. I can't even stay on the road because I was so dedicated to hitting them, but I hit them good. That's what's important. My bus is completely destroyed, but you know what? Look at their car. Look how far off the road it flew. It's not probably destroyed as the bus. No, not at all, but it flew a good distance. So anyways, that's all I wanted to do with the bus. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to free roam, and how about we go to Small Island, USA? And now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other drift cars I was talking about that were added in the update. I'm going to start with the drift version of the Gravel Blue Buck because that's kind of an unusual car for drifting to me. It's just a lot older than most of the cars you would see, and it seems like it's a lot bigger and bulkier as well. So this one has a roll cage in it. It has a pretty low to the ground suspension, and it also has a hood exit exhaust on it. Problem with drifting on this map is, look, if you're drifting, you're going to basically take up the whole road and then some. So if there's a tree on the side of the road during your drift, you're going to hit it. There's no avoiding it because your car's too long. This is not the ideal place for drifting, but overall, this works fine as a drift car. It's not the best one I've ever driven, no, but it works fine. You know, I can drift this thing no problem as long as I don't get too scared to do it. Like right now, I'm actually just really scared of getting sideways just because of all the trees and stuff around me. I just gotta be brave. I actually slide it some and it works fine. So anyways, let's go ahead and go to the next one. And for the next one, how about it'll be the Pessima, which has the drift version with a nice little face on the side. You can see that little dude. He's cute. I wonder if he has a name, like internally, if there's a name for little dude. But yeah, this one works perfectly fine as a drift car. It's more kind of what I would expect a drift car to look like as well. I mean, technically, yeah, this is like a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle, so it's not exactly ideal, but it's more in line than the one I was just driving. Not going to bother drifting it. I'm just going to show you some of the options. How about next we go to the Miramar? And this one looks pretty boring. It doesn't have a custom paint job or anything. It is bright orange, though, by default, and I do love my orange. It's got that external cooler. And yeah, it drifts fine. You can do tiny drift, one drift. Okay, one drift and one drift only. If I crash, so be it, because this is a bumpy road. Okay, I didn't crash, but man, the bumps got me spooked. I don't like drifting here because I'm always afraid a bump's gonna just spin me out or something, you know? I don't know why I chose here to drift. How about one last one? We're gonna go with ETK series because there's a cool paint job. And how did I end up in the ditch? I wasn't paying attention, huh? Well, I mostly wanted it for the paint job anyways. So this is like roto pads on it. And it just has like a nice little stripe to it. It's a little retro looking and stuff. I thought it was really cool looking. Now, here's a secret how to get out of here. Check this out. We're gonna go to the ETK 800 series. I'm gonna get the 856 TT Sport Plus because I believe this one has the option I'm thinking of. Have the option for a rally suspension setup because I believe in this update they added a rally suspension setup for the Blue Buck, Bolide, Burnside, ETK 800, ETK K series, Grand Marshal, Legrand, the Pessima, the Moonhawk, and the SBR4. So basically everybody out there getting some rally suspensions. So I got the setup on the vehicle. Now I'm just changing out the differential so it gets a welded rear differential and then a racing limited slip front differential to make sure it really can get the traction to get out of here. So let's see, can we just back out? No, not quite. We're gonna have to go forward and then back out. And I think I'm even worse stuck, so now I'll reset and try again. Okay, so first we go forward. There you go, that freed us. Now can we just kind of do a little 180? I mean, this thing has a pretty decent amount of power. I don't think this will be a problem, and we are good. So now with the rally suspension, you can see the front especially, this thing has some ground clearance. It's kind of looks like a crossover now that I think about it. It really does, doesn't it? It looks like a crossover. But yeah, you can get that suspension on pretty much anything you would ever want it on. Here's another neat thing you can do with the AI though. If you go and add the light bar to the vehicle, like this is what the police would use, for example, the AI should get out of your way. So let's go ahead and spawn up some AI. And then you should be able to see them reacting to the siren. Now, they unfortunately don't exactly get out of the way. What they do is just kind of slow down so you can pass. And it doesn't really show off well when there's a big old line of cars in front of you because it just looks like they're driving slow. So probably what I should do is just go to the car in the front, nobody in front of him, and you'll see him slow down for like no good reason, basically. So here we go, going behind him. You see him kind of slowing down, tapping his brakes. Now he's really going to a stop basically, and he allows us to overtake him so we can do our police things, or maybe we're giving him a ticket, who knows. But he comes to a stop, you can get around him, but still blocks the road. And a road like this, that can be troublesome because the road can be like completely blocked by both sides. And it's like, well, now what do? You both are stopped, you dummies. And it's just a disaster, ruining everything for the poor policeman. Oh, can we squeeze through? Oh no, why did you lag there, really? That was like the worst possible time to lag. Right as I'm trying to do a little squeezing maneuver, it lags. Oh, okay, and not only did it lag, it also destroyed my car in the process, even though it didn't look like that big of a crash. Okay then. Well anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. As always, I didn't cover everything in the update. I just gave you a look at some of the things that I thought were the most interesting and fun to play around with. If you want to see a full list of the changes, go check out the developer's blog where they list them all. Anyways, till next time, it's WhyBeAre, and remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by the AI's reaction to my sirens. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time.